Hello, and welcome back to Quiet Wisdom Stories. Tonight, I'm going to tell you a story I don't like telling. Not because it's dramatic, not because it makes me look interesting, but because it makes me look weak. And maybe that's the point, because most people only talk about their victories, their glow ups, their success. But the truth is, the biggest lessons in life usually come from shame. So let me say this clearly. Before we begin, this story is not meant to excuse cheating. It's not meant to romanticize it. It's not meant to make anyone feel sorry for me. Cheating is wrong. Cheating is not a mistake, the way people try to soften it. A mistake is spilling coffee, forgetting an appointment, taking the wrong exit on the highway. Cheating is a decision made in secrecy, a decision made in selfishness, a decision made while looking at someone who trusts you and still choosing to betray them. And the reason I'm telling you this is because people don't fall into cheating like they fall into a hole. They walk into it step by step, small choices, small lies, until one day they look around and realize they're living a life they never imagined. If you're listening right now and you've ever been tempted, or you're in a relationship that feels cold, or you're lonely in a way you can't explain, please listen closely. Because temptation doesn't arrive like a monster. It arrives like comfort. It arrives like attention. It arrives like someone saying your name in a way your partner hasn't said it in years. It arrives like a soft voice whispering, "You deserve to feel wanted. You deserve to feel alive." No one will know. It doesn't mean anything. It's just for fun. It's just a conversation. It's just one time. And that's how people destroy their lives. Not with one big decision, but with one small justification, repeated again and again. When I was younger, I thought cheating only happened to bad people. I thought cheaters were selfish monsters, people with no morals, people who didn't care about their families. I didn't understand something. Good people can do terrible things when they stop being honest with themselves. And the worst part is, when you cheat, you don't only break your partner's trust, you break your own character. You create a version of yourself that you can't respect, and you can hide it from the world. You can hide it from your friends. You can even hide it from your family. But you cannot hide it from your own soul. Your soul knows. Your soul remembers. And it becomes heavy. It becomes a quiet weight you carry everywhere. So tonight, I'm going to tell you how it started. Not with a kiss, not with a hotel room, but with something much quieter, with loneliness inside a relationship. Because that's where most affairs begin. Not in passion, but in emptiness. Take a slow breath and let me begin. People think cheating begins with sex, but cheating rarely begins with sex. It begins with distance. It begins when two people stop talking, but keep living together. It begins when love becomes logistics, schedules, bills, responsibilities, groceries, work stress, and slowly, you stop being lovers and become roommates. That's what happened to us. We weren't screaming. We weren't throwing things. We weren't breaking up every week. From the outside, we looked stable, but stability without intimacy is not love. It's a quiet kind of loneliness. I would come home tired, and she would be tired too. We'd eat dinner, watch something, scroll our phones, and fall asleep, and then the next day we'd do it again. Days became weeks, weeks became months, and in that time I started feeling invisible, not because she was cruel, not because she didn't care, but because life can slowly steal romance if you don't protect it. And most couples don't protect it. They assume love will stay just because time passes. But love doesn't stay automatically. Love must be chosen again and again, especially when life gets boring, especially when life gets heavy, especially when your ego feels hungry. You see, loneliness inside a relationship is different. It's not the loneliness of being single. It's the loneliness of being next to someone and still feeling alone. That loneliness makes you question yourself. Am I still attractive? Am I still wanted? Do I still matter? And if you don't talk about those feelings, if you don't bring them into the light, they become dangerous because unspoken pain always looks for an escape. That's when she appeared, not like a storm, like a breeze, a person at work, or a friend of a friend, someone I saw often, someone who smiled a little longer, someone who laughed at my jokes, someone who looked at me like I was interesting. And I remember the first time I noticed it, I felt something wake up inside to me. Not love, ego, that sweet, stupid ego. It whispered, see, you still have it. See, you're not old. See, you're still desirable. See, someone notices you. And instead of being honest, instead of going home and saying, hey, I miss you, I miss us, I feel lonely, I kept it inside because that would require courage. And I didn't choose courage. I chose comfort. I chose the easy feeling instead of the hard conversation. At first, it was harmless, just small talk, just friendly jokes, just a little attention. But here's the truth. Nothing stays small when it feeds your ego. One day you share a joke, then you share a secret, then you share a complaint, then you share a sadness, and slowly you begin giving intimacy to someone else. You begin building a private world, a world where you feel understood without having to do the hard work of love. And then the lies begin. Not big lies at first, small ones. You hide messages, you delete conversations, you protect your phone like it's a weapon. You start saying things like, it's nothing, you're overthinking, it's just a friend. And every time you say that, you move one step deeper into betrayal. Because cheating is not just physical. Cheating begins emotionally. The moment you start sharing your heart with someone who is not your partner, you are already leaving. And I didn't understand that. I thought I was still a good man because nothing happened yet. But something had happened. I had already started becoming someone else, someone dishonest, someone hungry, someone weak. And the scariest part, it didn't feel evil. It felt exciting. It felt like life again. That's how temptation works. It doesn't feel like destruction. It feels like relief. And if you're not careful, relief becomes addiction, and addiction becomes collapse. And that's exactly what happened next. There's a moment in every bad decision where you still have time to stop. A moment where your conscience whispers, don't do this. Go home. Choose integrity. Choose love. And then there's another voice, the softer voice, the voice that sounds like comfort. It says, it's not that serious. No one will know. You're not happy anyway. You deserve this. It's just one time. It's just a kiss. It's just a night. That voice is the voice that ruins lives. I wish I could tell you I fought it. I didn't. I walked toward it. And that's the truth. It didn't happen suddenly. It happened slowly, like a door opening inch by inch. First, longer conversations, then private jokes, then messages late at night. Then the emotional line was crossed. And once the emotional line is crossed, the physical line feels easier. I remember the first time it became real. Not like a movie, not romantic, just quiet. A moment where the world felt far away and my ego felt close. And I thought, this is what I've been missing. But what I was missing was not love. It was attention. It was novelty. It was the feeling of being chosen without having to earn it. And that is why affairs feel powerful. Because real love requires work. Real love requires patience, forgiveness, consistency, responsibility. Affairs require nothing. No bills, no laundry, no hard conversations, no long-term consequences, at least not immediately. An affair is a fantasy, a little bubble outside of real life. And fantasies are dangerous because they feel perfect until the bubble bursts. For a while, I lived in two worlds. At home, I was distant, cold, irritable. Not because my partner was wrong, but because guilt makes you cruel. When you're guilty, you don't want to be questioned. So you become defensive. You start picking fights over nothing. You start blaming your partner so you don't have to face yourself. That's what I did. And the person I betrayed, she could feel it. Even if she didn't know the details, she could feel the change. Because love is not blind. The heart knows. The heart notices silence. It notices when touch disappears, when eye contact disappears, when kindness disappears. But I kept going. I kept feeding the addiction. Because that's what an affair becomes, an addiction to feeling alive. And every time I went back to the affair, I felt a temporary high, followed by a deeper emptiness. Because here's the truth. Affairs don't heal loneliness. They postpone it. They distract you. And when the distraction ends, the loneliness comes back, stronger. And your relationship at home becomes weaker. Trust starts dying, not with a scream, with a slow, quiet suffocation. And then the worst part, I started believing my own lies. I started telling myself, I'm not a bad person. I'm just going through something. I'm not happy at home. I deserve to feel loved. But those were not reasons. They were excuses. And excuses are dangerous, but because they allow you to keep hurting people while still thinking you are good. And then it happened. The moment every cheater fears, the truth came out, not because I suddenly became honest, but because lies are fragile. A message seen, a phone left open, a moment of carelessness, and the fantasy collapsed. not slowly, in one night, in one look, in one sentence that changed everything. What is this? And in that moment, I felt something colder than fear. I felt shame, not the small shame, the deep shame, the kind that makes you want to disappear, because I saw the pain in her eyes, and I realized I didn't just cheat, I betrayed. And betrayal, it changes a person forever. People think the cost of cheating is losing the relationship. Sometimes that happens, but even when the relationship survives, cheating still destroys something. It destroys safety. It destroys the feeling of home. Because when trust breaks, love becomes anxious. Love becomes suspicious. Love becomes careful. And careful love is not the same as free love. After the truth came out, I expected anger. I expected screaming. I expected hate. But what I saw first was shock. The kind of shock that makes someone quiet. The kind of quiet that is louder than yelling. She didn't know what to say because her mind was trying to understand how someone she trusted could become a stranger. And I stood there, watching the damage and realizing that there is no apology powerful enough to undo betrayal. I tried. I said sorry. I cried. I promised. I explained. But explanations sound like insults when someone is bleeding. I said things like, it didn't mean anything. It was just a mistake. I was lonely. I wasn't thinking. And I watched her face, and I understood. Oh, those words don't heal, because the question in her heart was not about details. It was simple. If you loved me, why didn't you come to me? Why didn't you talk to me instead of lying? Why didn't you fight for us instead of escaping? Why didn't you protect my heart the way I protected yours? And the truth, the honest truth, was this. I didn't come to her because I was a coward. I chose the easy path, the secret path, the selfish path. And now the price had arrived. The price was not just losing trust. It was watching her doubt herself. That is what cheating does. It turns an innocent person into someone who questions their worth. She started asking, was I not enough? Was I not attractive? Was I not lovable? Was I too boring? Was I too old? And that is one of the cruelest effects of cheating, because the betrayal was mine, but the insecurity became hers. I watched her become smaller. I watched her become anxious. I watched her check my phone with shaking hands, not because she wanted to control me, but because her nervous system was broken, and I hated myself because I created that fear. I created that paranoia. I created that pain. And here is something people don't talk about. When you cheat, you don't only hurt your partner, you poison the future. Even if your partner forgives you, they will never love the same way again. They will always remember the moment they discovered the truth. They will always remember how foolish they felt, how replaceable they felt, how alone they felt. Trust is like glass. When it breaks, you can put it back together, but you will always see the cracks. And those cracks become part of the relationship, part of every argument, part of every silence, part of every late night. And then there's another cost, a cost nobody sees. You lose respect for yourself because you realize You were not the person you believed you were. You crossed a line. You became dishonest. You became selfish. And even if nobody else knows, you know, and living with that knowledge is heavy. It changes how you look at yourself in the mirror. It changes how you sleep. It changes how you pray, if you pray. Because deep down, you understand you traded something sacred for something temporary, and that is the cost. Not just losing a partner, but losing your own integrity. And now, let me tell you about regret. Because regret is not immediate. Regret arrives later when the excitement dies, and only reality remains. Regret doesn't arrive immediately. At first, after the truth comes out, you feel panic, you feel fear, you feel the desperate need to fix it. You say sorry again and again, hoping your words can reverse time. But time doesn't reverse, and pain doesn't disappear just because you apologize. So in the beginning, I wasn't feeling regret yet. I was feeling consequences. I was feeling shame. I was feeling the fear of losing everything. But regret, real regret, comes later. It comes when the drama ends, when the arguments stop, when the crying becomes quiet, when the house feels colder, when you're sitting alone and the silence finally speaks. That's when regret arrived for me, like winter, quiet, heavy, unavoidable. And it whispered, "You traded something real for something fake." That's when I understood. The affair was never love. It was a distraction, a fantasy, a temporary escape from responsibility. Yeah, but because real love is not the rush. It's not the butterflies. It's not the excitement of someone new. Real love is built in ordinary days. In the days nobody posts online. In the days where life is boring and you still choose each other. Love is loyalty and routine. Love is staying present. Love is choosing someone, even when your ego wants to chase attention. Because here is the truth. There will always be temptation. Always. There will always be someone attractive, someone kind, someone who makes you feel young again. There will always be someone who listens in the way you wish your partner listened. There will always be someone who smiles at you in the way you miss being smiled at. But maturity is not chasing every feeling. Maturity is understanding. Feelings are not commands. Feelings are weather. They pass. And if you build your life based on passing feelings, you will destroy everything you touch. I learned something painful, something older. People understand too late. The most dangerous thing in life is not being unhappy. It's being bored. Because boredom makes people reckless. Boredom makes people think they need drama to feel alive. Boredom makes people confuse chaos with passion. And that's why so many affairs happen, not because love died, but because people stopped watering it. They stopped talking, stopped dating, stopped touching, stopped being curious about each other. And instead of rebuilding, they escaped. They ran. They chose the shortcut. But there are no shortcuts in love. There is only work. There is only honesty. There is only courage. I regret not having courage sooner. Courage to say, I'm lonely. I miss you. I'm scared we're drifting. I want us back. Because those words, they are uncomfortable. but they are respectful. They are the language of mature love. Cheating is not the language of love. Cheating is the language of weakness. And weakness doesn't only hurt your partner, it destroys your future self. I regret the way I made her doubt herself. I regret the way I made her feel replaceable. I regret the way I took her trust and treated it like it was cheap. Because trust is one of the most expensive gifts a human can give. And when someone trusts you, they place their heart in your hands. When you cheat, you drop it, you break it, and even if you try to hold it again, it never feels the same. So here is the lesson. The lesson I learned too late. If you feel lonely in love, don't look for a stranger. Look at your partner. Speak, fight for your home. And if the relationship truly cannot be saved, then leave with honesty. Leave with dignity. Don't destroy someone just to satisfy your ego, because the guilt will follow you. It will follow you for years. And now, let me speak to you directly, because this next part is for the listener, for the person who is hurting or tempted or confused. Now, before we end, I want to speak to two kinds of people. First, the person who has been betrayed. If someone cheated on you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the nights you couldn't sleep. I'm sorry for the thoughts that wouldn't stop. I'm sorry for the way you questioned your worth when it was never your worth that was broken. Let me tell you something clearly. Someone cheating is not proof you were not enough. It is proof they were not strong enough to be honest. It is proof they did not protect what was sacred. And that pain you feel, that shaking inside your chest, that confusion, that numbness, it is real. And you deserve to heal. Please don't become cruel to yourself. Please don't punish your body. Please don't carry their weakness like it is your shame. It isn't. Your heart is not foolish for loving. Your heart is brave. And one day you will love again, but this time with stronger boundaries, with deeper wisdom. And if you choose to forgive, forgive slowly, forgive carefully, forgive with truth, because forgiveness without change is just permission for pain to repeat. Now, the second person, the one who is tempted. If you are listening right now and you are living a double life, or you are standing near that cliff thinking, it's not that serious, please pause, breathe. Look at your life honestly. Ask yourself, what will this cost me? Because it will cost you something. It will cost you trust. It will cost you respect. It will cost you peace. It will cost you the right to look your partner in the eyes without shame. And maybe you think you can hide it forever. But secrets don't stay quiet. They leak into your behavior. They leak into your mood. They leak into your tone of voice. They leak into your sleep. And even if you never get caught, you will still live with yourself. You will still live with the person you became. So choose integrity. Choose honesty. Choose the hard conversation. Choose the uncomfortable truth. Because truth hurts once, but lies hurt again and again. If your relationship is dying, don't kill it with betrayal. Either rebuild it or end it respectfully, because there is a kind of pain that is clean And there is a kind of pain that is dirty. Honesty is clean pain. Cheating is dirty pain. And dirty pain creates scars that last a lifetime. So tonight, I want you to remember this. Temptation is temporary, but character is forever. At the end of your life, you will not be proud of thrills. You will be proud of loyalty. You will be proud of the people you protected. You will be proud of the moments you chose integrity when nobody was watching. So thank you for spending this time with me. If this story helped you, leave a comment. What lesson did it remind you of? And if you want more quiet stories, more life lessons, and more calm wisdom, subscribe to Quiet Wisdom Stories. Good night, and take care of your heart